Thach Nguyen has blown up on YouTube recently, but he has been doing real estate for over 30 years. He wasn't born into money and he didn't hit the lottery. So how did he start from absolutely nothing and build his real estate empire? Well, today I'm gonna share with you how people like him and myself start from absolutely nothing. Let's talk. So Thach grew up in Vietnam and came to America as a refugee with his parents. And America is supposed to be the place where all your dreams come true, right? Well, not exactly. You see, you need a certain skill set to be able to start from nothing and create any sort of success. And that is exactly what Thach did.
I was 5 years old, living in Vietnam. My dad was a translator for the U.S. Army. And my dad got a phone call from his boss saying that the U.S. troop is pulling out of Vietnam, and we evacuating. And we got one plane left for all the big military guys. Every time I think about that, bro, it's like, think about it. Talking about leave your country, evacuating the country you grew up in. You don't even know where you're going, where you even land. That's crazy.
But where does someone like that even start? Is there some sort of class you can take or a book that you can read? Is there some sort of like cheat sheet or a program that you should be taking? These are all some of the same exact questions that I even had in my early 20s. I really didn't have a good general direction when I was younger. I was just kind of going to school, just kind of messing around, not really doing much. But like that all changed once I started to understand the power of real estate, and I had some really good mentors to help me. See, just like that, I am the son of an immigrant father as well. My grandparents, they just wanted a better life for my dad, and so they migrated to America. There was all kinds of sacrifices that had to be made just to make that happen, and trust me, I am thankful that that happened. From there, it can just seem impossible. How on earth do you make something of yourself, especially in an industry where it can seem like there are so many rules and so many laws? How do you figure it out? But you see, like most people, they started off renting an apartment. For them at that time, that was good and that's what they could afford. They didn't really understand the power of how you could buy real estate and how beneficial it could actually be. And that's actually the same thing that my wife and I did. We started off our marriage renting an apartment. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with starting off renting an apartment, but that cannot be your end goal. See, in this country, the truly wealthy and elite people own real estate, whether that's the form of commercial buildings, apartment complexes, single family homes. The key is to own real estate. That is something that Thach learned over 30 years ago, and that is something that I have learned over the past decade as well. You see, the power of owning real estate is just so much better than being a renter. There are tax benefits, there's write-offs, appreciation, equity to be gained. All of this can just mean so much more than being a renter. And that's where everyone has to start. They have to start by understanding, I'm gonna be a renter potentially for a little while, but my goal is to get out of that situation, save up some money, build my credit, and to buy my first house. So how do you, a simple, hardworking person, actually go about doing this? Well, it comes from what I just said. You have to have a plan. Start working with people who know real estate, who understand what it takes to buy your first home. Whether that's a lender, a real estate agent, your tax professional, whoever knows about real estate, you should talk to them to develop your plan. You need to do 3 simple things. Save for a down payment, build your credit, and have a stable job. These simple 3 things can be the difference from you buying a house versus not buying a house. But do you think that it stops there? Absolutely not. It didn't stop there for Thach, and it didn't stop there for me as well. Thach got started in real estate investing back in 1997, and I started this journey of real estate investing about 7 years ago. And when he first got into it, I'm sure he didn't know a lot about it, but he had mentors, he had people that would stop, take the time to teach him. And that's exactly what you need. You just need someone to take the time to explain exactly how real estate works, explain how the laws work, explain how to buy, how to sell, how to find good rental properties. All of this is just simple knowledge. So when you look at someone like Thach right now, he's had so much time to amass this gigantic real estate empire, and to you, the average person, it can seem daunting. He's got $100 million in real estate assets, he's got cash flow, and that can seem overwhelming for you. See, for me, I've been doing this for over a decade now, and I've owned several $1 million of real estate, but people like Thach and myself weren't just handed the keys to these houses for free. There was a lot of work, a lot of headaches, a lot of sweat put into this to understand how to buy.
And I graduated from high school in '88 with not the best grade point average. But what I realized, when I stand back today looking back, grade point average one way to measure someone. I realized effort is worth a lot of GPA. Hustle is worth a lot of GPA. Focus, mindset, a strong mindset is worth a lot of GPA.
We had to really take the time to understand the power of real estate, to take it from just owning a personal home to now being an investor. And that's the same journey that I know I want for you. But with all that said, there are certainly a lot of loopholes, a lot of laws, and it can seem frightening, but it does not have to be. There are so many ways to invest in real estate, and there's so many ways to actually be creative. There is almost no limits on how creative you can be in real estate. And here's one perfect example of how powerful real estate is. Let's say, for example, you buy a house and you buy it for $300,000 and you hold it for some time, and over time, that house is now worth $350,000. That's great. And when you go to sell it, now let's say because of the equity you've gained as well, you now have $100,000. And that is a lot of money to be gained. But as soon as you make that money, Uncle Sam wants his cut. But because of those legal loopholes that I was telling you about earlier, there's so many ways to avoid paying Uncle Sam. And what's one of those legal loopholes? Well, it's something called a 1031 tax exchange. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know I love this idea because it's free. It's an easy way for you to not pay taxes. So all you have to do is take that $100,000 in equity that you now have, and all you have to do is buy another piece of property with that money that is of equal or greater value than what you just sold. So in this case, just buy something that's $350,000 or more. And if you do the math, that $100,000 happens to be 20% of a $500,000 or $500,000 property. So essentially, you have traded in a $300,000 property for a $500,000 property, all while being tax-free. And along the way, that cash flow has been tax-free if you do it right. You see, this is just the tip of the iceberg to how someone like Thach has gained wealth through real estate. Yes, it takes hard work, perseverance, and dedication to achieve this, but you can do it. And don't let me forget to mention a lot of sleepless nights. But once you have this whole thing down, it becomes the best thing to invest in, hands down. So where should someone even start if they are a renter and they want to own a home? Or what does someone do if they own their first home but want to invest? Well, if you're a renter and looking to buy your very first house, then click right here. But if you're someone looking to get into the game of investing, click right here.